KSL News at 10 starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Rescue efforts are underway as communities across several states are grappling with widespread devastation in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
Hundreds of roads remain closed, and rescue crews are working to reach people who are trapped with limited supplies. Tonight, Utahns on the ground in those states hit hard by Hurricane Helene are telling us how bad this storm was for locals.
News specialist Shelby Lofton spoke with the American Red Cross about what cleanup and recovery efforts are like out there. And Shelby, is more help needed?
Debbie, they do need more help. The Red Cross just got the call tonight that more of these emergency response vehicles are needed in the southeast. So within the coming days, they're going to load up these vehicles with hygiene, cleanup, and comfort kits and send them across the country where many people feel like they're living in a nightmare.
That has become a catastrophe.
Utahns were dispatched to North Carolina, Florida, and Georgia ahead of Hurricane Helene.
More than 1,000 missing persons report filed just in one county in North Carolina.
North Ogden volunteer Kirsty Dunn was in a shelter in Madison, Florida, outside of Tallahassee when the storm hit.
We had maybe 200 clients here, and what we were doing is, everyone was in their room and sound asleep, and then the loudspeaker came over just because of the storm's ferocity that we needed to get everybody out into the hallways.
She says some of the roofing came off the school they're in and power lines fell. She's in an area that's been hit before.
We have a client here who has a baby. She and her husband are here with a baby who's about a month and a half old. And that baby has now been through Hurricane Debbie and now Hurricane Helene.
Dunn spends her days helping care for the families at that shelter, many of them with young children.
One of the sheriffs had brought through one of their canines today, which is just adorable little 17-month-old pup.
She says what many of these people will face in the daylight is hard to come to terms with.
You want to make sure that the kids are good because they've been through trauma.
Volunteers like Dunn help individuals connect with resources and get up-to-date information.
That concern, that anxiety of what's it going to look like when I get to go back, and that we do everything we can to provide that kind of calming hand on the shoulder.
And Donna told me they often utilize these vehicles in neighborhoods where people may not have ever evacuated. They may be trapped, and these vehicles can bring them life-saving resources. This is just an example of how Utahns are on the way to help others across the country. I'll send it back to you.
Shelby, just so much devastation. Thanks for that report. Well, 2 days after Hurricane